I'm pretty sure you guys may remember Ron Horn encountered onto the deleted Toy Story treats in the interstitials, remember? Well, during the time, Craig Mario Fan had made memes and shorts for Super Craig Mario Fan Galaxy. They're really funny and really nice to look at. But however, though, despite the interest in the memes and shorts, there was an awful memory that I had. So I'm gonna tell you all a nice, lovely story. I was at the bakery and I ordered myself a cupcake, along with a carton of milk. When I got out of the bakery, I noticed a box that was lying there when I never noticed. I looked at it and saw the Crick Mario Fan Productions logo painted on it, and it was a green box. I was concerned, so when I got home, I opened up the box and it revealed to be a DVD. And it was a Super Crick Mario Fan Galaxy DVD. The cover depicted of Craig, Mario, Luigi, Thomas, SpongeBob, Bugs Bunny, Wayne, Gil, Molly, Moose, and Boo in the background of the Cosmic Observatory. And it features every single memes and shorts from Super Crick Mario Fan Galaxy. In a yellow circle, it read, "Includes never before seen shorts." I was confused, but I ignored it. I then entered the disc in, and then the menu popped up. The menu was just nothing. It only includes the background of the galaxy. The options were play all memes and shorts, select memes and shorts, and audio options. I clicked on memes and shorts so I could watch all of them. Once then, a title card then popped up. The title card looked really nice to look at. It depicted of all the characters flying in the galaxy. The only characters that were present in the title card were Craig, Mario, Gil, Molly, Super Y, and the Wonder Pets. And a caption above the Wonder Pets said, "Every Super Crick Mario Fan Galaxy memes and shorts." I was really excited to watch all the shorts. I watched all of them, and they were really hilarious, funny, and great to look at. But however, though, these shorts weren't. Just then, a disclaimer appeared on screen. The following 5 shorts you're about to see were scrapped, and it wasn't meant to be viewed by anyone on YouTube. These shorts you're about to see may contain gore or many other things. However, though, please watch at your own risk. Without further ado, let's continue our galaxy adventures. I had a bad feeling about this, but I ignored it to feel brave. The first one started. It began with the shot of the Cosmic Observatory in the dark, and the only character that was only present in the scene was Luigi. However, though, he was looking really afraid, like he always is. Luigi then suddenly heard a distorted voice.
"It's time for Bubble Guppies!"
This frightened Luigi.
Is that you, Molly?"
Luigi said, stammering. Just then, he heard the sound of pottery break-in, and this made him jump. Luigi turned around and started to get into a panic attack.
"Who's here?"
Luigi said in fear. Just then, a familiar silhouette then appeared from behind Luigi and approached him. Luigi suddenly heard the footsteps and he turned around, getting confused. Just then, the figure then emerged from the shadows and into the light, and the character revealed to be none other than Molly, the main character of Bubble Guppies. However, though, Molly looked really intimidating. Her mermaid tail and clothes were in a shade of black and red, and her eyes were dark pink.
"Hey, green boy, you got any power-ups to spare?"
Molly said as she held up a hammer. Luigi began to hyperventilate loudly, seeing what Molly has become. Molly then raised her arm up with the hammer as she was about to murder Luigi with it. Luigi then said,
"Molly, no! Don't do this! I'm your friend! No! No! No!"
As Molly threw the hammer down onto Luigi, the screen cut to black. Though I could hear Luigi screaming in a realistic fear, and blood splattering was heard, meaning that Molly might have killed him. I was stunned. What the heck did I just saw? Is this a dream or something? I wondered. The next one played. It showed Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and Golden Freddy playing in checkers. Freddy then moved over a red token, and Bonnie decided to pick another token to move. But suddenly, the tokens began to move by themselves. This confuses Bonnie. Just then, the black tokens eliminated all the red tokens, meaning that the ghost might have won. Well, congratulations, Bonnie! You just won! Freddy said, and congratulating him. But, Freddy, I didn't even move them, Bonnie said. Wait, what? Freddy said, getting confused.
Wait, so if you didn't do it, Bonnie,
Chica said. Then who did, matey? Foxy said. Just then, out of nowhere, Molly blended in front of them, similar to a chameleon. The gang let out a startled yelp. Molly? How did you do that? Going Freddy, Eddie wondered. Molly didn't say anything for 10 seconds until...
I'm now under the control of evil. I can do anything no other guppy can do,
she said. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and Golden Freddy were impressed, but they were getting scared about Molly's appearance. What are you going to do to us? Freddy said, and being worried. Molly didn't say anything, and doing the evil grin. Just then, she then pulled out a knife and an axe and walked over to the animatronics. Molly then finally said something as she was about to swing at the animatronics.
You're going to be dying in a fire, animatronics, she said.
Just then, right before the knives and axe were about to make contact with the animatronics, it went to black again, just like what happened with Luigi. Though Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and Golden Freddy could be heard screaming in realistic fear, and slashing effects was heard, meaning that Molly might have killed them. I was done seeing that one. The third short started. It began with a shot off the Gateway Galaxy. Just then, it revealed to be one of the characters on it, which was none other than Special Agent Oso. Just then, he was staring at the galaxy, then he opened up his watch, revealing Mr. Dose, and spoke to it. Mr. Dose, our ship has not been fully repaired. We will return soon. I promise. Just then, he then closed the watch and looked around. No readout for anyone, or either Wolfie, Dottie, or anyone could hear me out. I wonder if there's somebody here that can... Also, sentence was interrupted by an evil demonic giggle. Also, looked around, getting confused. Just then, a red and black mermaid microphone then rolled right in front of him. He then looked down and examined it. What kind of singer might have dropped this? He said. Just then, Molly teleported right in front of him.
How's it hanging?
She asked. Just then, also looked up and noticed Molly. He then pulled out his pen and then pointed at her. Molly laughed, amused and evilly at the same time.
Your pen doesn't work on me, you yellow bear, but my powers do.
Oso then confronted Molly. Are you working for Black Hat? He asked. Just then, Molly grabbed her microphone and disappeared. This confused Oso. Wait, where did she go? He asked. Just then, suddenly out of nowhere, Oso's neck got snapped by nobody. He then fell to the floor and revealed to be Molly, the one who had actually unblended in. Just then, she then grabbed out a chainsaw and sliced his body as it went to black. Also could be heard screaming in a blood-curdling way as he then got killed by the chainsaw. Molly laughed the same way as Harley Quinn. The next one started. It showed a shot of one of the galaxies, Honey Hive Galaxy, but it was in the dark, just like in the first one. Just then, two familiar Nickelodeon characters walked into the shot, and it was SpongeBob and Patrick. However, though, SpongeBob was holding up a flashlight. Isn't this exciting, SpongeBob? Patrick said to SpongeBob. We're on galaxy duty.
You bet, Patrick, you bet,
SpongeBob said, telling his best friend. Just then, SpongeBob heard rustling from a bush.
What is that?
SpongeBob asked confused. Is it Bowser? Patrick said, feeling worried.
I doubt it, Patrick. It has to be something more larger than that,
SpongeBob said. Just then, they then heard what sounded like a chainsaw. What was that? Patrick said, starting to get into a panic. Just then, Molly then cut it off the bush, revealing to be the one hiding.
It's time to fix some sponges,
she said. Patrick screamed and ran off. Molly then ran over to SpongeBob, but SpongeBob shrieked in horror and began to run away. The two best friends began running for their lives, getting to the exit. But suddenly out of nowhere, Molly then teleported right in front of them.
You're not going anywhere, Spongy and Fishy,
she said mockingly. She then threw her chainsaw like a frisbee as it cut to black. SpongeBob and Patrick appeared screaming, and a blood splatter was then heard. The next short started. It showed a shot of Good Egg Galaxy in the dark. Just then, Bob, Scoop, Muck, Rolly, Dizzy, and Lofty were on the shot. Okay, team, listen up, Bob started. Craig told us that we're going to be on night duty for the galaxy, so we're going to keep an eye on everything in Good Egg Galaxy until everything's on tip-top shape. Scoop then said, It's no problem for that job, Bob. Can we watch? Yes, we can, the rest of the gang said. Yeah, I think so. Lofty's sentence was interrupted by an evil laughter. Everybody then heard it.
What was that noise?
Muck said, wondering. I don't know, but whoever made that laughter is making me uncomfortable, Rolly said, feeling worried. Just then, Molly then faded into the shop behind Bob. The machines were shocked, and Bob turned around as he was shocked. Molly? What have happened to you? Bob asked. Molly didn't say anything about 10 seconds until she said,
I'm no longer Molly anymore. I'm Molly the Guppy Killer,
she revealed. The team were confused.
Wait, Molly the Guppy Killer?
Dizzy asked in confusion.
That's right. And since I'm a Guppy Killer, nobody's gonna stop me,
she said. Just then, Molly then pulled out a sledgehammer and went over to Lofty and began smashing him into pieces. Lofty let out a realistic, blood-curdling scream as he was being smashed by Molly. Lofty continued screaming until he was fully destroyed. The team had gasped as they saw what Molly did to Lofty. Molly! Scoop gasped. What did you do to Lofty? Just then, Molly then looked at Scoop and said,
I don't have to tell you anything, Yellow Banana,
Molly said. Just then, she pulled out a flamethrower and burned Scoop, Muck, Rolly, and Dizzy with it. Scoop, Muck, Rolly, and Dizzy screamed in anguish as they were being burnt to death. They continued screaming until they collapsed onto the floor. Bob was shocked. Molly, why are you doing this to my machines? Bob said.
Sorry, Builder Boy, but you're next,
she said. Right before Molly was about to make contact with Bob, it cuts to black with Bob screaming and a blood splatter was then heard. The next short then played. It showed a shot of Dusty Dune Galaxy, again, in the dark. Just then, Franklin then walked into the shot holding in a flashlight. He then took a deep breath. Okay, so Craig told me that we're on night duty to keep an eye on the galaxy to see if everything's going to be on tip-top shape. Unlike nothing's bad's not going to happen. Just then, he then heard somebody screaming and a blood splattering was heard. Huh? What was that noise? Franklin wondered. Just then, Molly teleported into the shop behind Franklin. Franklin turned around and noticed Molly. Huh? Molly? What are you doing here? Franklin wondered. She didn't say anything, but she grabbed at Franklin by the neck. Just then, Molly then threw him into the quicksand as Franklin began to drown. Franklin then screamed as he was being down into the quicksand. The only thing was seen was his arm as his arm went to the sand as Franklin was no more. The next one then started. It showed a shot of the Wonder Pets. It's on a metal bench. And they were looking afraid. Just then, they then heard a sound of a faint sizzling.
Well, looks like this is the end for us, guys,
Lenny, and he said.
Lenny, I'm scared. We're supposed to be rescue animals, not food,
Ming Ming said. Just then, a sudden an arm then punched Ming Ming into the fryer. Ming Ming let out a realistic, blood-curdling scream as she was being burnt to death. This shocked Lenny and Tuck. Ming Ming! Tuck cried.
Oh my goodness! Who did that?
Lenny's sentence was interrupted as a sudden arm grabbed onto Tuck. Huh? What the? He said. He then got thrown into a blender and got blended to death. Tuck screamed as he was being blended to death. Ming Ming then vomited onto the floor. Just then, a knife shadow then appeared above Lenny.
Uh-oh.
She said as her eyes strengthened shot. Just then, the knife then stabbed Lenny in half, ending her. And then it faded to a scene, this time with a blood, a drink, Ming Ming's fried bodies as chicken nuggets, and Lenny sliced the body. Molly then began to eat the chicken nuggets, only her mouth being shown, as she then smiled with sharp teeth. It then went on and on as Molly murdered the other characters, but I won't say them though, because I'm a bit lazy to. The next one then played. It showed a shot of Dima in one of the domes in the Cosmic Observatory. This time, it was in the kitchen. She was wondering on where was everyone else. Just then out of nowhere, Molly then blended in and out of the window.
Oh, hi Molly. What are you doing here?
Dima wondered. She didn't say anything, only smiling with an evil grin on her face.
Molly, are you alright?
Dima wondered. Just then, she then raised her hand up.
Well, it's time for you to be poisoned to death,
Molly said. Just then, Molly then attacked Dima with her poison powers. Dima began to choke on the poison as she puked a bit. Just then, she then grabbed her head and threw her onto the fryer as her face began to burn. Dima let out a painful scream as she was being annihilated. She then faded onto the floor, meaning that Dima died. It then fades to black. Then the next one played. It showed a shot of Space Junk Galaxy. Just then, Gil then entered into the shot holding a flashlight. Okay, Gil, you can do this. I'm not afraid to be alone in the dark. So whatever I'll do this for Craig, Mr. Grouper, my girlfriend, and the rest of my friends. Here goes nothing, he began. Suddenly out of nowhere, the lights turned off. Huh? Who turned off the lights? Gil wondered. He then turned on his flashlight and looked around. When he looked, he found Molly. Oh, Molly, there you are. Did you know why the lights were turned off? He wondered. Just then, she then said,
Hey, Gilly. I am officially onto the dark side now, which means I can do anything I want, and you're not gonna stop me.
Gil got confused. What do you mean by that? He asked. Just then, she snapped her fingers as a portal behind him, which resembled hell. Just then, Gil turned around and noticed it was the fiery portal that resembles hell. Uh-oh, Gil said as his usual line. Just then, Molly then pushed Gil into the portal. Gil screamed as he was being fallen into the portal, and just then, he stopped screaming as an explosion happened, and the portal closed, as Molly went off-screen giggling evilly. My eyes widened in shock, and my mouth became a jaw drop. Why would Molly do that to her own boyfriend? Gil still loves her, even though if he pays less attention to the others. The next one played. It showed another shot out of one of the domes in the Cosmic Observatory. This time, not the kitchen one with Dima, which was the Terra Dome. As it showed the inside, the Nick Jr. group were all tied up, and they were gagging as they can't talk due to the tape in their mouths, except for Franklin and Linny, due to the fact that they were already killed. The only ones who were there were Muno, Pablo, Thomas, Wubsy, Chase, Tinky Winky, Rory, and Blaze. Just then, Molly then appeared in the shot, revealing to be the one who tied them up. Molly then stared directly into the audience as her eyes glow in a bright pink.
Do you see what I mean now, everyone? This is why the Nick Jr. group should pay attention to me more often and less attention to the other guppies, or even Mia.
Molly then turned around and said something else.
Boys, I'm sorry, but this is for your own good.
Molly then threw a pipe bomb onto Nick Jr. group and detonated it as she then went off-screen, meaning that she doesn't want to get caught in the explosion. As it shows the outside of the dome, it then exploded. The screams of the Nick Jr. group could be heard during the fiery explosion. I was shocked. I can't believe Molly murdered her own group. The second to last short then played. It showed a shot of Craig standing on top of the highest of the Comet Observatory. He was looking at the galaxy. I wonder how the others are doing on their night duties, he wondered. Just then, Molly then appeared into the shot. And God, she was berserked. She still had those bright pink eyes, although she was now covered in blood and she had bloodshotted eyes. Craig then turned around and noticed Molly. Molly? What happened to you? Why are you covered in blood? He wondered, or getting worried. Just then, Molly then said this.
I'm officially now under the control of evil now, Craig boy, which means I've officially killed everybody in the galaxies, including Rosalina.
I was confused. Wasn't Rosalina an immortal? Craig's eyes widened in shock. You what? He yelled in horror. Just then, Molly grabbed Craig by the neck and choked him. It then showed a POV shot of Craig as Molly then said, and as her voice fades into a demonic effect.
I'm sorry, Craig, but...
Things where they have to be.
Craig was shocked. He then said through his chokes, What? No! Molly, don't do this to me! He said. Molly then dropped Craig, meaning him to plummet to the floor. Craig began to scream as he was falling to his demise. Right before he was about to make contact with the ground, it cut to black. The blood splattering could be heard, meaning Craig might have landed the ground badly. I was even more shocked. First, Molly killed Gil, then a Nick Jr. group, then she killed the leader of the channel. I was suddenly stunned. I can't believe Molly has been acting like this for no reason, I said. The final short then started. It showed a close-up shot of the beacon in the Cosmic Observatory, where Rosalina and the Lumas really are. However, though, the Lumas or Rosalina weren't in the scene either, though, due to the fact they were already dead. I also noticed that Molly was the only character that was in the shot. However, though, her clothes were all normal, and she was staring at us, grimacing. In the background was a distorted end credits version of the Season 3 Bubble Guppies episode 3 of the Super Ballet Ball. The distorted voice began to sing it.
Up on my shoulders, spinning like a top, going, never wanna stop. They smoke the air, under the lights, make you taste and to the top. So I get some ballet at the ballet tonight.
I really did find the singing voice to be beautiful, but I was getting chills down my spine on listening to it and watching Molly staring at me. Once the singing was over, Molly vanished from the shot, leaving nothing into the Cosmic Observatory. It then fades to black. I thought this was all over, but however, one more thing popped up. It was an edited picture of Craig and SpongeBob gasping in shock when they saw that Molly was being held by Darkside Craig. However, though, Craig's eyes were black, his pupils were glowing red, he was crying blood, he had sharp teeth, and his face was in a light purple. And SpongeBob looked even more terrifying than Craig. His whole entire body was entire white, he had black eyes, no red pupils, he was crying blood was drooling from his mouth, he had blood-stained teeth. However, though, Courage, Mickey, or Sonic weren't edited either. And in the background, I could hear a loud version of the Howie/gut-wrenching scream, the SpongeBob screaming, a frightening woman scream, and also Mario scream from Super Mario Galaxy where he got blasted to the Gateway Galaxy. After the jump scare, it then fades to black, ending the DVD. I was terrified about what I just saw. I cannot believe Molly murdered everybody, alongside with Gil, Craig, and the Nick Jr. group. I then decided to record the footage and post it onto YouTube so everyone can believe me. After when I uploaded it onto YouTube, I showed my parents the footage and they were shocked. Just then, a few hours later, I looked at the video and it saw I got a lot of views, likes, and comments. I printed Craig's comment and he was stunned and shocked. Just then, Craig shared his community post and said something. Guys, this is a really serious announcement. Somebody made the deleted shorts for my Super Quick Mario Fan Galaxy movie. A special thanks to this guy here for showing me the proof of it. And put the comments down below on the video of what you think of it. For me, I literally don't know what to say, but I was stunned as heck. A few nights though, I had nightmares having Molly killing me the same way as she did to the others. However though, those deleted shorts still haunts me everywhere.